It's Meghan Sussex, ladies and gentlemen.
It's quite lowbrow for what I would actually expect of a Sussex.
She would not have this show were she not married to Prince Harry, and she's using that as a means to flog jams and candles.
I'm not going to lie, I did Google a candle making kit.
I did as well.
You know, if she wants to sell products in that sense.
What about the small army of people that were chopping up the fruit and drying the flowers beforehand?
What do you mean? She wasn't doing it all herself?
Oh, come on.
It's meant to be aspirational rather than inspirational.
I'll give it a break, Meghan. Just do something different and genuinely inventive.
Lean into our authentic self and get on with it.
If Meghan fails on this show, that's a public failure. That's a professional failure.
Hello, I'm Sarah Hewson, and this is Royal Exclusive with a first look at Meghan Markle's brand new Netflix series, With Love, Meghan. Joining me to get stuck into our review of the show is news commentator Samara Gill, royal commentator Afua Hagan, The Sun's TV editor Rod McPhee, and stateside showbiz and royal commentator Kinsey Schofield. A very warm welcome to you all. So we have been binge watching With Love, Meghan. 8 episodes dropped at 8 o'clock this morning UK time, midnight in LA, where Kinsey is. Let's get first impressions. Afua, what were you expecting and how did it meet those expectations?
To be honest, Meghan delivered exactly what I was expecting. So very glossy, very high production value show about her sort of bringing the TIG to life, those things that she loves, food, wine, cooking, entertaining, but now with a mix of like stuff with the kids as well mixed in there, homemaking, leaning into that brand of creativity for her. Very, very on brand with her. Of course, with her fashion spliced in there as well. It was exactly what I was expecting, and she gave me that.
Afua mentioned the TIG there, Samara. So that's the blog that Meghan had, lifestyle, fashion, food blog, before she met Harry. How much of this is a return to the roots? How authentic a portrayal of Meghan do you think we're getting?
I think we're getting absolutely nothing that's authentic out of this. I mean, I think watching it was quite disappointing because you don't actually get that look into her life that you think you're going to get or you thought you were going to get when the series first said that it was going to launch. I mean, it's really this sort of charade of her playing a part in a home that's not her own, you know, with people that she doesn't quite know. Some of them are her friends, some are on payroll. I just didn't see the Meghan that I was expecting to see, and it was absolutely not relatable. That was the main thing I was looking for in this. Meghan presents herself as this girl next door, but what we really got was this sort of person who's living in a Montecito palace, out of touch from reality.
Rod, from a TV critic perspective, I mean, this has got to be a hit for Meghan and for Netflix as part of that £100 million deal they've done. Is it going to work?
It depends on what Netflix want. I mean, if they want a credible lifestyle show, I don't really think that's what they've got. If they want something that millions of people will tune into, I suspect they will, but it is like rubbernecking a car crash, because that's what this is in many, many ways. It's not a serious lifestyle show. It's all about her. It's not about lifestyle. But it is, as everybody said, her presenting a certain image of herself. It isn't the real Meghan in any way.
It's an interesting point you're making that, you know, why are people going to watch this? Are they tuning in to watch it for the cooking, the recipes, the hacks, for example? Or are they tuning in a kind of voyeuristic way because they want to see an insight into Meghan's life? I actually thought that's how I was going to watch this, because I want to be there and I want to see, you know, when does Harry appear? What does she reveal about her life? There were parts, actually, I'm not going to lie, I did Google a candle making kit.
I did as well.
So, you know, if she wants to sell products in that sense.
And that's kind of, I mean, it is tied in with our As Ever brand, and you know the website went live today with the a few bits on there. Before it crashed, I managed to see there's tea on offer and there's crepe mix and things like that. Of course, she is going to be selling stuff for her brand. Of course she is. And she never claimed that she was going to be reinventing the wheel with cooking, hosting, or entertaining. She's leaning into things that she knows. And yeah, we do get some snippets, probably not as much as maybe you and I would like, right? You know, she talks about her husband and her kids and the things that they like and things that they like to eat and stuff like that. And it's not filmed in our house. And she says that repeatedly throughout. And I kind of get that. I hate when people come to film in my house. Like, I actually hate it. So I could get why she wouldn't want a crew in her house. She said it's like 80 people. And of course, you know, Lily's still little and, you know, the kids are trying to have naps and it just doesn't work. And she references that, absolutely. But yes, this is going to be about her selling stuff for her brand, absolutely. Yeah. Jams were mentioned a lot and they're going to be on sale. There's a lot of product placement. It's going to be about selling that stuff as well. And it's just, I think it's the kind of thing, if you like Meghan and you like that kind of lifestyle a bit and might want to know how to make your own bath salts, this is for you. If you don't like Meghan, steer clear. But there's going to be a lot of people who will watch it just so they can say they hated it, which is so strange to me.
Let's get the view stateside. Kinsey, I mean, wow. If you are the Montecito Tourist Board, she's doing a fantastic job for you. It looks spectacular. What a lifestyle she is selling to us all, an aspirational lifestyle that's a long way from what most of us live. But for the US market, and that's really important to her, isn't it? What kind of reception is she getting so far?
I mean, I think it's unfortunate that she postponed this program because of the wildfires in LA, because she wanted to be respectful of the kind of the environment. She wanted to be respectful of the tone of Los Angeles. And we're literally, I mean, the world is a dumpster fire today. As I scroll through my phone, it's Ukraine and Russia and what has the president said today or done that could jeopardize our future. It feels like
isn't that
we're
the point? There's escapism from that rather darker reality.
It feels inappropriate in the mix, you know, to be organizing a board of fruit when we're so worried about what tomorrow brings. It just feels like the wrong tone. But I know that this is something she has to do. It's taken her 5 years to get this product up and out. They had Heart of Invictus that bombed. They had Pearl, never actually came to fruition. Live to Lead and Polo. This is something that was really important for them to get out and up. And I'm sure that a lot of people are rooting for her because if she is successful in this arena, then that means that Meghan and Harry will likely not continue to create projects that tear down the royal family.
Yeah, I know, I agree with you on that in the sense that it's not just for Meghan and Harry and for Netflix that actually this is important, that it's a success, because from the royal family perspective, look, they're not going to be watching, are they? But
you never know.
If she manages to make a success of this, she builds a business, she builds a lifestyle, and of course she's got a platform because of who she is, and we hear her talking about the Sussex name. But if she builds a lifestyle brand that doesn't have anything to do with talking about how difficult life was within the royal family, well, that's a win all round, isn't it, Samara?
Well, there's a lot of subtle digs and jibes that she makes. I mean, she really refers to her life as while I was in the royal family, during and then after, as if it was some sort of jail sentence that she served, which it really wasn't. And for it to all accumulate into her, you know, flinging cheap jars of jam and putting them on shelves, it's a little bit sad. I mean, when she first moved to LA, she said that she was, you know, she thought she was going to become the second coming of Michelle Obama. So this cooking show, in my opinion, is pretty antithetical to her original plan of world domination, charity organizations, and doing good things for the world. It's very confusing pivot, in my opinion, and it's quite lowbrow for what I would actually expect of a Sussex.
I mean, just to counter a couple of things. First, when Kinsey referenced that, you know, the show is coming at a time when the world is a dumpster fire. Listen, every single streaming service and channel is dropping new content every single week. So is the argument that all streaming services should pause dropping new content while the world is a dumpster fire. I mean, because if that's the case, then we will have nothing new on any streaming services from here until eternity, because I agree, the world is a dumpster fire, absolutely. But should streaming services stop dropping programs?
But it's the messenger. She's a royal family member and she's telling people how to freeze their
back. She
well,
stepped
yeah,
back.
But I mean, but it's just, it doesn't make any sense that at the same time that the world is a dumpster fire, you're going to have shows coming out that give people escapism. They are coming out every single day on every single streaming service, whether it's, you know, Meghan the Duchess of Sussex, or whether it's Nicole Kidman doing something. There's going to be something coming out every week. And I think sort of to put that on her, that she is the one person that shouldn't release anything whilst the world has a lot of problems, doesn't make any sense. Either all streaming services should stop, or people can release content.
Rod, let's talk about her motivation for this and what Meghan wants us to take from this whole kind of rebranding of her, the With Love Meghan series and the As Ever line of products, which have launched today, although the website crashed some of those products. Her good friend Abigail Spencer, who she's been friends with since the Suits days, says, I just want people to see the Meghan that I know and love. Is that what this is about? Her trying to show a different side to her?
I think so, but I don't think that what we get is anything close to the real Meghan. You know, we just get very much her version of herself. And you're right, it is a complete rebranding exercise. But I don't come away from this thinking, oh, I know her better. I feel like the whole thing is one long PR exercise. And what she's basically done on Netflix is turn it into a shopping channel. Because, you know, it's product placement, it's a platform for her stuff.
She's not the first, though, is she, by any stretch? And that will be coming from Netflix as well, because the merchandising of these things is where the money is.
Yeah, maybe, but isn't there also something a little bit unedifying? Look, I know she's stepped back from royal duties, but she would not have this show were she not married to Prince Harry. And she's using that as a means to flog jams and candles and, oh, gosh, who knows what else.
I mean, that's the age-old question for members of the royal family, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is how do you make a living for yourselves independently while not exploiting the royal name? And many of them have come a cropper when it comes to trying to navigate that. She and Harry have stepped back from working duties. They've got to earn a living. You know, they've got to pay for all that security. So how does she do that?
So why does he feature in it? This is the thing. He does feature in this.
Briefly.
Well, very briefly, but there's lots of references to him. There's references to the kids. You know, we already know why she's in Montecito and the background to this. You know, there is a knowingness to this show, and we all know why she's there and why she's doing this. And we all know that if she weren't married to Prince Harry, she wouldn't even have this show. I know that's incredibly cynical. And there's lots of other better cooks, better lifestyle people who could do this show much better than her. Why has she got it? Because she's married to Prince Harry.
Well,
Samara?
Is it a rebrand or is it reputation rehab? Because, I mean, this comes fresh off the back of a lot of bullying allegations. I mean, Jason Knuth just went on 60 Minutes Australia last week and spoke about the leaked emails from the palace, the 2 PAs that she allegedly bullied out of a job. Staff have called her a dictator in high heels in Vanity Fair articles. So she's really coming off the back of a spate of about 5 years of horrific PR. And I get that this is trying to position her as this flowery homemaker, but I'm not quite sure that there's that authenticity to actually grasp a good reputation or the reputation that she wants.
Afua?
I mean, Meghan has never claimed that she wanted to be the best chef, best host, best this, best that. And kind of, you know, you have got a point, yes. You know, the reason why she does have this platform is partly because she is married to Prince Harry. But like you rightly said, Sarah, she has to make some money. If she was in the royal family or stepped back as a working royal and wasn't doing anything, was just sitting back and perhaps still collecting money from them, we would be complaining about that. But now we're complaining about the fact that she is launching her own platform. She is merchandising goods. She does want to make some money. She counts herself as a female founder. I mean, really, they are in this position. And especially, I think, with Meghan that she's damned if she does and she's damned if she doesn't. So she might as well do what she wants, what she loves, lean into her authentic self and get on with it. And the fact that she continues to do that, under so much scrutiny and with so much cynicism poured on her, I think is commendable.
I suppose the big question is how many people see this as her authentic self. And I think your point, Afua, is that if you didn't like her before, you're probably going to hold that same opinion.
Yeah.
If you liked her, then you see this as authentic. Let's bring Kinsey back in, because Kinsey, you know, as I said, we're not just watching this for the cooking and the cake baking and the candle making and the bath salts and whatever else. We are watching this for that insight into what life is like. What do we learn about Montecito life for Meghan, Harry, Archie and Lily?
I think that they all love each other very much. Prince Harry is clearly incredibly proud of Meghan during the 8th episode when she's throwing her launch party for As Ever. He puts his arms around her, says everything looks great.
Right?
You did a great job.
Little insights into the fruits that Prince Archie likes and what a tea party for Lily might look like. I mean, I think that is all very interesting. Obviously, there was a strategy about how to go about telling those stories without them physically there, which is clever. Meghan says her bacon brings all the boys to the yard. Prince Harry shows up in the kitchen uninvited when she's cooking bacon. So there are little tidbits that if you are a royal watcher, you will find very interesting. I also love the moment where Mindy Kaling says it's the first time she's had alcohol that early in a really long time, and Meghan says, "Welcome to Montecito." I think that gives you a little bit of insight into what Montecito's like. But yeah, obviously very glamorous, very, it looks like a very wonderful, gorgeous place to live and a very beautiful lifestyle that she's set up for herself.
I mean, that point about the sort of welcome to Montecito and the champagne first thing in the morning, Rod, how attainable is this kind of lifestyle that Meghan is portraying here? I mean, it's idyllic, it's aspirational. Is it out of touch?
I don't know if it's out of touch, because as you were saying before, I think that escapism and aspiration is an important thing, and there's lots and lots of TV shows out there which provide that, and we don't say, oh, they should be banned whenever there's a war on or there's a disaster happens. But it's the lack of self-awareness, perhaps, and saying things like, oh, we're going to make some candles today. You can get your wax from your local beekeeper. I don't know about you. I struggle to find a Tesco near me, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just nip out and get some beeswax, And
there's a lot when she's going around the garden, and it's this beautiful, beautiful garden. We do see a little bit of her garden.
Yeah.
A couple of glimpses, but this beautiful garden in this rented mansion.
Yeah.
And you can see that the producers said, you've got to make this a bit more realistic. So talk about what people can do, if they're living in an urban environment on their windowsill.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the sprinkling of dried flowers on everything. Like literally, you can't.
There was a lot of dried flowers.
I mean,
I will say that.
and on kids' sandwiches.
That is definitely
and stuff,
going to be the product number one, isn't it?
And then the other thing that struck me was that she presented this pot of spaghetti and tomatoes like it was the holy grail of cooking. And it was like something that every student in history has made with like a 50p budget. And it's not only, some things are unobtainable, other things are just delusional.
There was something that, Pippa Middleton, when she launched her column for one of the magazines, and she was talking about, hosting parties and cooking and things like that. And she was mocked and ridiculed for it just being so obvious. Stating the bleeding obvious with it. There's a bit of that. I wonder as well, I mean, you also see some parallels with the Princess of Wales here, with the jam making and the beekeeping, which is something that she does and the King does and David Beckham does. Everybody's doing it. She talks about the great outdoors and how important it is getting children in the great outdoors. There are a lot of synergies there, although we know that they couldn't actually be further apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just thinking, with these very simple recipes, is it really worth Netflix's $100 million that they've plowed into this? I mean, that's a lot of money to pay for a simple pasta recipe and a honey making session from Meghan Markle. So I am also thinking about the Netflix executives and if they're going to renew another season of this, and also if they're banking on this As Ever store to get a little bit of their money back that they've invested, because none of the other projects have worked out. Polo hasn't been renewed for a second season.
I mean, obviously Harry and Meghan, the initial documentary series was a massive hit for them.
Yeah.
But the others, you're right, just haven't. I mean, Polo, they barely even bothered to promote it.
Yeah, exactly.
Did they?
No, that's completely correct. So in terms of the commercial success of this and Netflix, I think it's hanging on by a thread, personally, if this launch doesn't go well. And I know we were all checking the website beforehand and it apparently has crashed. So I'm not sure, is that maybe a great success because a lot of people went to it? Or is it not? I mean, you know, too early to tell.
Can we get a sense, Afua, from you of Meghan and the person that she was before Harry from this? Because there are a few hints in there and a few nuggets about her childhood.
I was a latchkey kid. So I grew up with a lot of fast food and also a lot of TV tray dinners.
That gives us an insight into, I guess, the childhood that she had and how she kind of wanted to steer away from that. She never says it was bad in any way, but she just states that's how she grew up. And you can
I mean, it
see
couldn't
that,
be further away from what we now see on screen here.
From where she is now, that she is able to be more present, even though she is, you know, a working mum, and things are very different. And I think that's probably influenced her, you know, where she is now. And I think also if we talk about, you know, her life before Harry, like I have mentioned, you know, she had this lifestyle blog before, and she said, you know, in her the People magazine interview that she did that came out just before the show came out, that, you know, Harry can see sort of her creativity coming back. He has a glint in his eye when he sees that she's now doing things that she loved to do before, that sense of creativity is back. And that's, you know, that's great for her. And actually it's really interesting what you said about the synergy between perhaps her and the Princess of Wales. You know, they're both outdoorsy, both like making jam, both talk about the benefits of being outdoorsy with their children. But I guess that's all mums, isn't it? I'm sure me and you would talk about the same kind of things.
If you've
Probably
got
not
the time,
beekeeping,
I mean, if you've
though.
got the time, and that's the kind of thing about whether or not this is in touch, because the beautiful rainbow platter, okay, she tries to make a miniature version
But
to
I
make
think-
the children. I mean,
I
you know, my
think-
children are lucky if there's a bowl of Weetabix on the
Honestly,
table,
me
and
too.
you know,
And
the
you
milk
sprinkle
bottle.
dried flowers on the week.
Yeah.
Definitely. If you don't have dried flowers on your Weetabix, have you even had your Weetabix?
But then I don't want to. But the point I'm making, I guess, is that I don't want to watch a morning routine like my morning routine, because that's just stressful. That's not escapism for me. I want to see the beauty.
But this is the thing, is that the series, I think, is meant to be aspirational rather than inspirational. I mean, are you going to go home and make a massive board of fruit, Sarah?
Well, no. I'm not
exactly.
right now. But I did
Neither
say,
am
as I
I.
said, I might, you know, I might make a candle at some point. I don't know, but I've got to find my local beekeeper.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
exactly.
where you find that in South London.
The trouble is that what she did with that fruit platter, and I think this is sort of emblematic of the whole thing, is that it was the equivalent of opening up one of those tins of fruit that you get from Del Monte and sort of arranging it nicely.
Yeah.
All she did was get pineapple chunks and grapes and things and just sort of arrange them and then get those blooming flowers and scatter it on there. And you kind of go, oh, give it a break, Meghan. Just do something different and genuinely inventive, but a pot of pasta with tomatoes and then
I learnt one hack, though.
What was
well,
that?
You might have known this already. It might be really obvious. If you put sparkling water in your scrambled egg, it makes them really fluffy. I didn't know that before.
I'd heard that one.
Yeah, but on the subject of water, I mean, we were just talking about the ice cubes.
The ice cubes, yeah.
For some reason, it's grating on me how she told me that I shouldn't be using tap water for my ice cubes. I should be using distilled water.
But
Now-
actually, I knew that as well. I'd seen that on social media, like last year. If you boil your water and you put it in your ice cube tray, then it's clear. I knew that.
Yeah, I'll make sure to do that when I'm hastily making my cocktail at the end of the day, because I'm just like, oh God, I was waiting for this.
Kinsey, I'm sure, has had to have a couple of cocktails to stay awake, to stay with us. But Kinsey, I just want your thoughts on what constitutes success for Meghan and Netflix and this, because it's a really crowded space. So is it about being a ratings winner? Is it about that kind of image rehabilitation? Is it about the merchandising? What will count as success here?
I think Meghan's ultimate objective is to change public perception. Because if Meghan fails on this show, that's a public failure, that's a professional failure. And if it's a win, she will attract more opportunities. So she really, really wants this to work, not only in hopes that she can continue her relationship with Netflix. And I should stress that Netflix does say there is one more project on the horizon, a scripted Meet Me at the Lake, a scripted film that Meghan and Prince Harry are expected to produce. But I think that she wants this to be an analytical win. I think she wants us to log on to Netflix and see her in the top 10 because this will attract other opportunities for her. It will attract brands that are interested in working with As Ever. It will attract Meghan being a guest on other people's lifestyle shows that are similar. But I do think that her ultimate objective is to change the public perception because the media has said over the last at least 4 years that she was a bully, most recently in January in Vanity Fair. And that's definitely not the person you see when she's telling us, when I have friends come over, from the moment they wake up to the time they go to bed, I want them to know that I'm thinking about them. I'm making them bath salts. She's trying to say, I'm not a dictator in heels. I'm sweet, I'm fun, I'm kind. And I think that is what she wants ultimately, to change the public opinion of her.
Yeah, and she has always, of course, vociferously denied those bullying allegations. And I guess this is kind of, as you say, Kinsey, her retort to that played out on screen. Rod, from a TV perspective for Netflix, where does this stand in their deal? Does it mean we're going to get more? The chat from Netflix seems to be this isn't the end?
Oh, I would be very surprised if this didn't get a second series. I really do. And actually, perhaps for what Netflix wanted it to do, I think it will be a huge success. I mean, we're sitting here talking about it.
Yeah.
And any show that gets people talking, whether you're deriding it or loving it, that's what Netflix want. They court controversy. I'm not saying that this is particularly controversial, but it does get people talking, and for them, that's a hit.
Yeah, I mean, you made the point, Samara, about the shift from Meghan and this kind of big vision of potentially a platform on the political stage to where she is now. And we could argue it's back to the TIG roots.
Yeah.
And maybe that is more authentic or less so. But, I mean, it is a big change for her in life.
Yeah.
And is this the new beginning? Is this what we're going to see from now on?
I mean, I think this is where Meghan feels comfortable. I think she probably, we do talk about her wanting a political career, etc. But, if she feels comfortable making jam and that's sort of her avenue, then she should just stay there. That's probably where she sits. I think maybe this is the start of a business venture for her. And I wish her well, but I do think that it's a little bit of a fall from grace, in my opinion, from where I saw her when she initially left the royal family. And we spoke about that synergy between her and Catherine. Catherine's being able to make jam and take her kids into nature and still be in the royal family. So it's a little bit confusing to me where that kind of clashed.
One of the things Jason Knauf said in his interview in Australia was that you can't, in this social media age, create a brand. You can't make someone have a certain image in public. You've just got to allow them to show themselves in the most authentic way. Does this do that, Afua?
I think it does. Yeah, I think Meghan is trying to be and being her most authentic and genuine self and how she knows how to be. And yeah, he's absolutely right, actually. All you can do, especially in this age of social media, is be who you are. And people are going to form their own opinions about you anyway. And actually, those opinions are none of your business.
Let's get Kinsey's opinion. It is our business to talk about this. I suppose that's our job, Kinsey. And the fact is people are talking about it. And that's got to be a positive, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Andy Warhol said something about, it doesn't matter what they say about you as long as they spell your name right. And apparently we've been spelling it wrong because it's Meghan Sussex, ladies and gentlemen, something that we should all walk away from. Or walk away with. I would ask you though, Sarah, I'm curious to know, did you understand the strategy of talking to the people off camera? Kind of like is it called breaking the fourth wall?
Yeah,
did you feel like that was an attempt to say, look, I am nice to the people I work with? Or did you feel like it was almost an insecurity where she feels more comfortable involving everyone around her versus talking directly to the stranger
I mean, I think it can be both, can't it? I mean, I did think that in showing herself, you know, making a cup of coffee for one of the crew or giving them a beer and talking about them working hard, and we see them behind the scenes, that's very much showing, you know, Meghan, look, I'm one of you.
Hostessing doesn't stop at one person. It's the spirit of it. Cheers.
It's not a them and us, and I am really caring to those around me. But also, you know, look, when she started on Suits, you know, she was a nobody, really, and she suddenly found herself where she is, and, you know, that's a different place to be in, is a big position to be in. She's back in her home kind of territory. She's in California, she's back on television, but this is very much her, not acting. I know some people will argue that she is acting throughout, but, you know, this is about Meghan fronting it up and, you know, trying to give us an insight into who she is. And that's very different to playing Rachel Zane.
But she actually was pitching a similar show to this before she met Prince Harry in the UK. So this is her making her dreams come true.
Yeah, and she's able to do that, and she's got the big name, the Sussex name, which of course she talks about how important that name is to her because it's their family name.
I think the real problem with this is that she does show some of her authentic self. And her authentic self is someone who wasn't a huge star before, who married into wealth and power, and now lives this very gilded life in Montecito filled with where she's got way too much money and time on her hands. And this does nothing to diminish that image. You know, if you've got time to boil your water for your ice cubes and time to dry flowers and all these things, then you have too much time on your hands and too much money. And to go back to the point you were saying about breaking the fourth wall, I think you're right. I think she did try and reduce that sense of hierarchy. You know, the guys over there, they're just like me. I can talk to them. But then I also think, well, what about the small army of people that were chopping up the fruit and drying the flowers beforehand?
What do you mean? She wasn't doing it all herself?
Oh, come on. I mean, you just know that there would have been like about 20 other people that were preparing the yogurt and all these different things, so she could just reach, grab it, bring it across, and this takes 10 minutes.
I thought when she opened the fridge, my fridge has never looked like that.
No, where's the old curry with the tin foil on top?
I'm going home to rearrange it now. We could carry on talking about this for hours, but we are out of time. A really big thank you to Kinsey, to Samara, Afua and Rod. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember to tell us what you think of With Love Meghan in the comments below, and also remember to like and subscribe for the latest royal news from The Sun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.